The Milwaukee Bucks are closing in on the 30th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft. With March Madness in full swing, which NBA draft prospects are standing out as potential selections? While the Milwaukee Bucks have all but locked up either the 29th or 30th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, determining which prospects might be available is a little more difficult exercise than say in the 2014 NBA Draft when Jabari Parker was ultimately chosen ahead of Joel Embiid and Dante Exum. A mock draft can be a useful tool for learning more about relevant prospects, along with tying in possible team needs, tendencies, and just a general franchise's direction, and that's exactly what we hope to establish on this occasion. Another benefit of a mock draft is that it helps to naturally develop tiers of prospects, such as superstars, all-stars, starters, role players, backups, etc. All of those serve their purpose on an NBA team, but at pick no. 30, the Bucks aren't likely to find the next superstar or all-star. However, unearthing a role player that can possibly develop into a quality starter isn't out of the question. Past successful NBA players chosen with the 30th pick include David Lee, 2005, Jimmy Butler, 2011, Kevin Looney, 2015, and Josh Hart, 2017. This specific mock draft order uses reverse standings from Tankathon as of March 23, 2019, and brings into focus the Bucks' selection at the end. Page 2 INDIANAPOLIS, in November 6, photo by Zach Bollinger, Icon Sports Wire via Getty Images 1. New York Knicks. Zion Williamson, F. Duke an easy choice unless past injuries are major red flags and scare the Knicks away, and they instead opt for teammate RJ Barrett. Point 2. Phoenix Suns. Ja Morant, E. Murray saved the fit here is perfect. Phoenix has been so weak at point guard that they were playing Devin Booker out of position just to fill the role. DeAnthony Melton and Elio Okobo are still young and promising, but Morant is a game-changer, and potentially even a franchise-changer. Point 3. Cleveland Cavaliers. R.J. Barrett, W. Duke. Barrett might be a lock to average 20 points per game in his rookie year, and each subsequent year thereafter. The Cavaliers, who are completely starting over since the LeBron James era has ended, need a go-to scorer to pair with Colin Sexton. Point 4. Chicago Bulls. Darius Garland, E. Vanderbilt. The 4th pick is the most difficult pick in the draft, as it begins the next talent tier after Williamson, Morant, and Barrett. If Chicago feels their long-term core consists of Zach LaVine, Otto Porter, Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter Jr., then point guard is the clear need. This may be considered a slight reach for fit, but no other player has separated themselves as the No. 4 prospect, and Garland is certainly talented enough to be in the mix. He can play at all 3 levels on the offensive end, adding even more firepower to the Bulls' lineup. Point 5. Atlanta Hawks. Jared Culver, E. Texas Tech. A perfect backcourt mate for Trae Young. Culver can do a little bit of everything on the court. Dribble, shoot, pass, defend, etc. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective, which just happens to be what makes Trae Young effective. Point 6. Atlanta Hawks. Via Dallas. DeAndre Hunter, F. Virginia. Hunter will be a perfect, seamless fit on any team in the NBA. Not too dissimilar to how Mikal Bridges was viewed last summer, and Hunter has even better size and length, and is much younger. The addition of Culver and Hunter on the wing will help mitigate defensive issues with Trae Young and Kevin Huerter, while still providing solid all-around offensive skills. Point 7. Memphis Grizzlies. Cam Reddish, W. Duke. Reddish could easily go 4th overall, as his ceiling is higher than most in the draft. The talented freshman hasn't received the attention that teammates Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett have, but he has had his share of games where he has been the team's best player, led by his deep range. Point 8. Washington Wizards. Jackson Hayes, C. Texas. Another prospect tier begins here and lasts to the end of the lottery. Hayes is a skinnier version of Jarrett Allen, but has every bit of the same athleticism, if not more. He is still developing, but the Wizards need size and talent, and this is a worthwhile gamble. Point 9. New Orleans Pelicans Romeo Langford, Indiana freshman wing at times looked like a top 3 pick for the Hoosiers. He was highly regarded coming out of high school, and it will be exciting to see him play for a team of NBA players rather than a bad Big Ten team. The Pelicans will need everything except point guard, and Langford is a high upside risk worth taking for a rebuilding team. 10. Los Angeles Lakers Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Virginia Tech. The Lakers' offseason is set up to be wild, and this pick will likely be the least entertaining part of it all. This is too bad, as I absolutely love Nickeil Alexander-Walker as an NBA prospect, and I think LeBron James would too. He did everything for Buzz Williams at Virginia Tech this year, on both sides of the ball. There isn't anything he can't do on a basketball court, at least to a passable degree, and his game should translate well to the next level. 11. Minnesota T-Wolves Kobe White, North Carolina. This makes it back-to-back prospects that I have rated much higher than most, and I really like this fit. Derrick Rose and Tyus Jones will be free agents, and Jeff Teague will be in his final year. The Wolves have needed their long-term point guard for what seems like decades, unless you count Ricky Rubio as an answer. White is an excellent shooter and floor general, something that is desperately needed next to Karl Anthony Towns, Robert Covington and, I suppose, Andrew Wiggins. 12. Charlotte Hornets Nassir Little, North Carolina. Hornets need everything at every position. Their roster with Kemba Walker isn't bad enough to get a top 3 pick, but not good enough to compete in the playoffs. At that point, you might as well take a home run hack at it, and go with the highest ceiling. Nassir Little has all the talent to be a star, but a lot of things have to come together in his game. 13. Orlando Magic Eldon Johnson, Kentucky. Perhaps the most point guard needy team outside of Phoenix misses out on Morant, Garland, and White, and this is too high for Trey Jones. They did trade for Markelle Fultz, so giving him a year to run the show may be an option. With Aaron Gordon, Mo Bamba, and Jonathan Isaac making up their front court, the Magic opt to go with wing help, specifically one that can shoot. It's a boring pick for a boring roster. 14. Boston Celtics via Sacramento. Brandon Clark, FC, Gonzaga. This would be such a win for Boston, as Brandon Clark is just an excellent player that contributes to winning in so many ways: defense, shot blocking, rebounding, scoring. If his jump shot was just a little more consistent, I'd have him in the top 7, as he's that impactful to a game. Brad Stevens would love having Clark in his rotation to play the 4/5, especially if Marcus Morris doesn't return. Page 3. Las Vegas, Nevada, March 11. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. 15. Miami Heat Rui Hachimura, Gonzaga. Next prospect tier begins here at pick 15, which kicks off the order of NBA playoff teams, as of this writing. Rui Hachimura has a real chance to be the best of everyone left on the board. His floor is high, and his ceiling is also high. He's a great offensive talent with good size and an improving jump shot. The Heat have plenty of offensive-minded bigs, but they are all overpaid and probably not in the long-term plans. Hachimura would be a good start to a rebuild, if Pat Riley allows it. 16. Brooklyn Nets Ekpale, Stanford. Ekpale seemingly came out of nowhere this year for Stanford, and for much of the season put on a show. He has loads of talent that stretches out to the perimeter, and with his 6 feet 9 inches size and guard-like handles, he has the foundation of the ideal NBA player. Adding a high-ceiling talent at a position of need to the young and talented Nets roster makes sense at 16.17. Detroit Pistons Kevin Porter Jr. USCTHG Pistons are locked into Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin for a very long time. Their best bet is to stock up on guards and wings that can shoot, and that is one thing Kevin Porter Jr. can absolutely do. He has near-elite isolation handles to create his own shot, and great size and length for a traditional shooting guard. This doesn't solve their point guard issue, but no one on the board at this point would do that anyway. 18. San Antonio Spurs Doumbouya, F. Limoges, international. The Spurs select yet another international prospect that will probably end up being far better than his draft position. The forward from France just turned 18, but has already played against high-level competition and has excelled. He has great size and athleticism, can run in transition with excellent coordination, and seems to have great overall feel. He may end up being a draft and stash prospect, but it'd be worth it at this point in the draft. 19. Utah Jazz J. Washington, F. Kentucky, J. Washington and the Utah Jazz seem like a match made in heaven. He has played like a typical Jazz player all year for Kentucky, in that he defends really well, is physical without fouling, and can stretch the floor. 20. Oklahoma City Thunder Grant Williams, F. Tennessee. The SEC Player of the Year is selected by the Thunder, who will welcome a second-unit player who can do just about everything with the intensity and attitude to match their stars. Depth has been an issue with Oklahoma City this year, so getting an NBA-ready player will be important for a team looking to compete for a title. I really like Williams to translate to the NBA, and I really like this fit for him. 21. Boston Celtics via LA Clippers. Trey Jones, E. Duke. Kyrie Irving may, for some reason, decide the grass is greener in New York, and Terry Rozier will be a free agent. Trey Jones is insurance in case any of these point guards choose not to return, and would be yet another high IQ rotation player for Brad Stevens. 22. Boston Celtics Jalen McDaniels, F. San Diego Street. Despite legal issues potentially tanking his draft stock as the process plays out, McDaniels could be the type of risk worth taking for a team filled with plenty of talent and depth, and too earlier in the draft. McDaniels has the length, 6 feet 10 inches, handle, and athleticism that teams look for in modern-day power forwards, and if his three-point shot improves slightly from his 32%, he'd have a lot of value in the NBA. 23. Indiana Pacers Tyler Herro, E. Kentucky Greenfield, Y native has risen up draft boards as the college season has played out, to where he's now being talked about as first-round talent. The reason? His picture-perfect jump shot. He moves off the ball to find his shot, much like J.J. Redick would. Indiana needs wings in the worst way. Bojan Bogdanovic, Thaddeus Young, Darren Collison, Tyreek Evans, and Corey Joseph are all free agents this summer, leaving only Doug McDermott as an off-ball shooter. 24. Portland Trailblazers Bruno Fernando, C. Maryland. Adding the center from Maryland to a big man rotation with Yusuf Nurkic and Zach Collins is an intriguing fit. This could push Myers Leonard out of any legitimate NBA rotation, and act as insurance in case Collins does not return after the 2020 season. 25. Cleveland Cavaliers via Houston. Daniel Gafford, C. Arkansas. After getting their alpha scorer in R.J. Barrett at pick 3, and with drafting promising point guard Colin Sexton a year ago, the Cavaliers opt for a young and promising big man in Gafford. There are two center offensive archetypes that tend to work, a three-point shooter, Brook Lopez, or a rim roller, Clint Capella. Gafford plays more like the latter, which fits well next to the perimeter-oriented Kevin Love. 26. Philadelphia 76ers Cam Johnson, F. North Carolina 76ers just need to add depth, specifically knockdown shooters. This fit could be perfect for the upperclassman Cam Johnson, who would be ready for rotation minutes on day one for a team competing for a championship for the foreseeable future. 27. Golden State Warriors Matisse Thybulle, F. Washington, best defensive player in college basketball, gets to play alongside one of the best defensive players in the NBA in Draymond Green. That alone would make this pick worth it for any NBA fan. 28. Brooklyn Nets via Denver. Bowl, C. Oregon. Biggest boom or bust pick of the draft falls to no. 28. Bol is an exceptional shooter at 7 feet 2 inches, but doesn't seem to do anything else that you'd expect one of the tallest human beings in the world to do on a basketball court. He's not dissimilar to Thon Maker. I personally wouldn't touch him in the first round, but after scooping up KZ Okpala earlier in the draft, the Nets have two mega upside dice rolls on bigs to play with their core of D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, and Jarrett Allen. If one or both pan out, look out. 29. San Antonio Spurs via Toronto Admiral Schofield, W. Tennessee. I'm rooting for this to happen, as the last Admiral worked out pretty well for the Spurs. Schofield is an excellent perimeter shooter with a good frame. Maybe a little redundant next to last year's first-round selection Lonnie Walker, however, you can never have too many wing shooters in today's NBA. Next, Bucks selection at number 30. Page 4. Las Vegas, Nevada, in November 21st. Photo by David Becker. Getty Images. 30. Milwaukee Bucks against Dort. G. Arizona stiff. The board falls this way, with sharpshooters like Cam Johnson and Tyler Herro long gone, along with players with an elite NBA skill. Think Matisse Thybulle's defense, then a combo guard makes a lot of sense. Eric Bledsoe is locked up for 4 more years, but George Hill will likely be gone, and Malcolm Brogdon might become a very wealthy man in some other city. Even if the Bucks retain Brogdon, there still will be a need for a rotational ball handler. Money will be tight this summer, so bringing in a guard on a rookie contract to give them 15 minutes a night certainly could have its place. Dort's frame is almost an identical replica to Eric Bledsoe, in that he stands at 6 feet 4 inches, 215 pounds, and built like an absolute truck. He also comes with a 6 feet 9 inches wingspan, allowing him to play terrific on ball and team defense. It can't be understated how good the defense of the Bucks bench unit has been this season, with George Hill, Tony Snell, Pat Connaughton, Sterling Brown, Ersan Ilyasova, and DJ Wilson all having stretches of really solid defensive play. Dort, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, would instantly fit in with this all-defense bench unit, while providing size and quickness to help run the offense. Dort finished his freshman year averaging 16.1 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. The thing that drops Dort to pick 30 in this exercise is his three-point shot, coming in at 30.7% in his freshman season at Arizona State, on 5.2 attempts per game. The jump shot, however, does not look completely broken, and after some time with Ben Sullivan, the Bucks shot doctor who has redeveloped the shot mechanics of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dante DiVincenzo in only a matter of months, there would certainly be hope. We have seen that Mike Budenholzer will simply drop players from a bench rotation if their shot isn't falling, so this would be the biggest question mark with this selection. Would the exceptional defense keep him on the court if his three-point shot trends around 30%? Arguments could be made for a true center at this selection, however every year there are a plethora of veteran centers waiting to be offered a minimum contract. It is not a good day and age to be a traditional center, as the position has been devalued unless you are a shot-blocking rim roller or a shot-blocking deep threat. Another option is to load up on more shot-making wings, forwards, and select a player such as Dylan Windler from Belmont or Eric Paschal from Villanova. Windler is especially intriguing based on his offensive efficiency, athleticism, and terrific jump shot. However, on-ball defense in the NBA is a different animal than the Ohio Valley Conference. Next, Wisconsin hurt Jordan Brady out as head coach after 2 seasons despite being only a freshman. Luguentz Dort has the size, athleticism, defense combination as a solid foundation. With a developing offensive game, this is an intriguing choice at no. 30. You won't find the perfect prospect at this spot in the draft, but a Marcus Smart type archetype is the model that could keep Dort in the league for many years.